Hey gang, we are in Wisconsin today and we're in a little town called Glenbeulah. Now this is Walnut Grove Cemetery and it's a small ancient cemetery, ancient for United States standards. I mean, come on, the country was, right, 1776, so, you know, 1700s, 1800s, pretty old, and this is a lot of that. But this is reputed to be the most haunted cemetery in Wisconsin. And we've done some digging into it, lots of digging, get it? And we have found some pretty terrible stories here. Now there's 4 stories, 3 really we're going to focus on, that are all bad stories. They're real stories, and we're going to talk about the paranormal aspects also, because there's been a lot of paranormal research done here. TV show came here. So I have to believe this, and just coming in here, it has got a very spooky vibe to it. But we're going to focus on 3 gentlemen who are buried here. And the first one over here, the Sexton family plot, very sad story, and murder. I mean, all these stories, murder and violent death. So let's start with him. Very interesting character. I mean, looking at his pictures, he had this white beard that was just, it kind of looks like something back to Hansel and Gretel days. John L. Sexton. Like I said, he's buried right here. He was kind of one of the pioneers here. But he was really well regarded, and that's what's sad, what happened to him. Gone but not forgotten. So John L. Sexton, born in Whiting, Vermont in 1825, so that goes pretty far back. And the infamous day of June 28th, 1911. So we looked on Ancestry, and Deb, I got to give Deb a lot of credit. She helped a lot here. And we found some of this stuff also on the Find a Grave link. People have done research. And the story is that John was born in 1822. It says 1825 here. So we got to go with what the stone says. I guess it's not a family plot because I don't see any other Sextons here, and there wouldn't be. He did have children that moved away. But let me just tell you this, he married and he had 3 sons, he had 1 daughter, and as we walk along, we'll look at some graves, we'll talk about John. Besides being postmaster, he later became the justice of the peace in the town of Russell. When he wasn't teaching school or working in the post office, John could be seen wandering through the hills and fields near here of his beloved Kettle Moraine area. It's around Elkhart Lake, and that is pretty close here. He was without a doubt the first naturalist in Sheboygan County here. John's children grew up, they left home, they all seemed well. When John's wife, still relatively young, died suddenly. And now he's a middle-aged man, grief-stricken. He chose to live a solitary life like a hermit. The yard around his log cabin was a jumble of specimens of rocks, roots, and many Indian artifacts, anything he found in the area that interested him. So he was a collector, and that just wasn't outside. The recluse, when he became an old man, he let his snow-white beard grow. It flowed down to almost his shoulders along with his long hair. He had once said that he had not gotten a haircut for over 25 years. Now the inside of the cabin, as I was alluding to, was like a maze. There were huge piles of newspapers, magazines, books. Some were as much as 100 years old. some would call his condition, the condition of the place, totally intolerable, but he liked it. It was his library, his notes, his life's work, all in that cabin, all in that maze. Guests from the area resorts made a must to see the old man. They spent hours talking to him. He was a good, nice guy. His frequent visits to the village of Elkhart Lake, John was very well known here. But as the years went by, John, there was like a rumor that the old man had money stashed, and he probably did. Some, well, we'll find out. And the word got around, and you know what happens. You get some, miscreant that has to go and get the money, get the jewels, get the treasure, and at the expense of the old man. So yeah, he was attacked. There was an assailant that came, and there was a big fight. The guy's name they turned out to be Anthony Borello. He was a recent immigrant from Italy who worked in the nearby Rhine Mills lime quarry. It was June 28, 1911, and from all the evidence that they found, that John put up, for his age, his old age, he put up a heck of a fight. But he was stabbed in the neck and the chest dozens of times, so he died, and the guy got $300. So, and I guess he got caught because they know his name, but they don't say, was he hanged? We don't know. If anybody can dig that up, great. It would be great to know. But don't have any information. I assume they, at the very least, went to prison. Now, another name that I see here a lot in the cemetery is Badger. So that was a big family here. So this Badger, 1837 to 1890. Let's see if we can have a better look here. Catherine M. Badger. So, yeah, died January 20th, 1890. There's a prayer here. I'm betting that's in German, right? Most of the immigrants here were German. But the Badger that we're looking for is over here. And this man had a very violent death. I think the women are buried here, and I'm not sure which stone is for him, because the one that I think is for him is illegible, and we will take a look at those. But I will tell you the story. Again, on Find a Grave, thank you. The gentleman there put in the story, and it was from the Sheboygan Herald, February 21st, 1879. The headlines, if you will: a shocking death. A prominent businessman blows out his brains. Mr. Badger had a hardware store and a tin shop at the village of Glenbeulah. So right here appears that up to that hour of his death, he faithfully attended to his business as usual. And as I tell the story, I'm going to walk over here. We'll come back. We'll circle back. I just want to look at some stones together. So he had the hardware store. Everything was fine. That he manifested, and I'm quoting from the paper, that he manifested no sign of mental depression, that no one suspected him of cherishing a wish to terminate his own life, that he attended a lecture on Tuesday evening and seemed to be in good spirits, that at 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning he was in the store and he was smoking a cigar and he was chatting. He was chatting pleasantly with customers. That at the hour last mentioned, he sent his son William on an errand to the depot. Now, while his son was gone, he locked the front and rear doors of the store. And he locked the shop, all from the inside. Then he went to a small bedroom. It was on the east side of the store here, and after securely fastening the door behind him and placing 3 bundles of building paper against it, threw himself on the bed and deliberately sent a bullet crashing through his brain. Crashing through his brain, he shot himself. Well, the ball entered the brain just above the temple. Young Badger returned, his son. He came back from the depot in about 15 minutes. He found the doors locked, but he wasn't thinking anything was amiss. But he let himself in with his own key, and he resumed his work in the tin shop. His attention was soon attracted by a deep groan from the bedroom. He hurried thither, forced open the door as quickly as possible, and there he found the insensible form of his father lying upon the bed. The unfortunate man was not dead yet, but never again opened his eyes or gave any evidence of consciousness. His grief-smitten family and friends vainly endeavored to secure a sign of recognition from him, but the lingering spark of life fled a few moments later. He was gone. Letters were found upon his person addressed to his wife, daughter, and sons, and to Mrs. Eratus Keach, Mr. Case, and Mr. Dillingham. Most of these letters were dated the 18th of February. The fact, together with the evidence contained in the letters, conclusively proves the terrible deed was deliberately planned and coolly premeditated. The cause of the suicide is still shrouded in mystery so far as the public is concerned. The deceased has resided in the county for a long term of years. He was universally respected and esteemed for his many shining qualities. He leaves behind a wife and daughter and 3 sons. The funeral occurred at Glen Beulah Cemetery here. It was not called the Walnut Grove Cemetery at the time. The Oddfellows took charge of the exercises. The attendance was very large. So let's go take a look back at his grave here with his wife, and I'm going to believe it's probably his daughter, although it's hard to say. But I did take a look at these, and I can't figure out which one is his. We'll look at this one first. So, oh, there you go, Edwin. So this is his, Edwin Badger. Passed to the higher life, February 19th, 1878. Aged, so it would be this. Yeah, so it has to be coming from this one. And then this one is Olive, wife of E. Badger. And you can see what the birth dates are, 1870, 1843? It's like 1874. And then this one is very hard to read. And it's a badger, but we don't know who. Alright, so now let's go to the final grave that we're interested in. So as we go over here, the final grave that I want to show you is back way in the corner over there. But this is the grave that is often talked about of Grace Bauman, who you're always going to find toys here. She died, little baby. I'll try to get this. So 1943, whoops, 1943. But if you come here, that's, now they say her ghost is seen hiding in the trees and all that. Come on. I mean, I don't want to be a spoiler, but, well, maybe she's, when she's older, right? In heaven, I don't know. But the grave that I really wanted to see here is over here. Now, it is said that there was a man who hanged himself here on one of these trees. Could be any of these trees here. Some of these are very old trees. And the stones are right by this Woodman of the World right here. And his name was Eugene C. Willis. Okay, Eugene Willis. And his stone, although I can't really read anything, is this here. And we will look with the flashlight. When I looked before, I really couldn't see much. But, like I said, it is said there was a man who tried to hang himself from a tree. After he dropped, however, the force caused the rope to tear through his neck and sever his head. So he was decapitated. Now, Deb and I were researching, and this could be, it could be Eugene, we're not sure. Because he died young, and you know, with that kind of a death, you take your own life, there's no, many times there's no stone or marker, so that would be an against, but there's no story on him, no records of him. Now they say the head rolled down the hill, and there is a big hill here all the way around the cemetery, if you look around. And this cemetery is surrounded by deep, deep forest. Now they say his apparition has been seen here, sometimes wandering among these old gravestones. And I will tell you that the only reason I would believe that is because I do believe that, we've talked about on the paranormal side, that the residual energy resides where the death occurred. I'm not a believer that you can find spirits at the cemetery because that's where the dead body was brought. The energy is no longer there. So now look at this. There's no name. There is a pattern here. Died June 6, 1891, age 34 years. Now that tells me, look, no name. How odd is that? This has to be him. He has to be the one that tried to hang himself and really was successful. in taking his own life, but decapitated himself. Wow. You have to wonder. You have to wonder which tree it was. They said it was here at this cemetery. And the fact that his grave is right here, and I'm looking over here and I see a very old tree right there. Look at that. Do you think that's the tree, guys? Good chance. One of these trees. Yeah. That's a very old tree. Both of these trees are. So, that is the story, guys. That is the story. From Walnut Grove in Glen Beulah. Really a neat place. Alright guys, on to the next one. Happy Halloween.